Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to this new episode of Dynamic CISO Talk Show, where we invite industry leaders, top practitioners, experts to share their thoughts, ideas, challenges, and recommendations on cybersecurity and other related issues. Um, Given the changing stature of cybersecurity in the boardroom, an extremely volatile situation as far as the threat landscape is concerned, it is super critical to engage with the cybersecurity solutions and service providers to create a robust and resilient cybersecure foundation. Uh, Not only to fight with the threat actors who are growing smarter, lethal, but also to create a resilient cybersecurity posture for your organization. In the same league, today I have the pleasure of having with me Nitin Varma. Nitin is the Managing Director, India and SAARC for CrowdStrike, a company that pioneers cloud workload and endpoint security, threat intelligence, and cyber attack response services. Welcome to the show, Nitin. How are you doing?
Thank you, Rahul, and it's great to be here with you.
Ex-
Surviving and breathing.
Excellent, excellent having you. So first thing first, I would like to understand from you what has been your key observations in past almost 2 years, as far as the change in attack vectors and threat actors are concerned, targeted attacks are concerned, and what are the effects of those attacks on the industry at large.
Sure, and thanks for that question, Rahul. Um, Let me start by saying this. Threat intelligence has always been the cornerstone of CrowdStrike approach, right, from the very day of existence about 10 years back. Right? And we today track about 160 plus different adversary groups across the globe. And the key observation, if you will, right, that we have kind of looked at in the last 2 years in terms of different intrusion activity, there has been an astounding 400% increase in the volume of intrusion activity being orchestrated by the entire gamut of adversaries. Right? And the percentage of intrusion attributed to the state-sponsored adversaries and the e-crime adversaries in here are totally different and has really changed in here. In terms of the percentages, there have been about 25% of the intrusion activity which came in from the state-sponsored, and about 75% of the intrusion activity which was associated or attributed to the e-crime actors. So there has been a surge of the e-crime adversary, launching various campaigns and all in the last 2 years. And it's pretty evident from our threat intel report, which comes out annually, and the attitude surveys that CrowdStrike released this year. The pandemic actually has not deterred the cyber adversary in the last 2 years. In fact, in this crisis situation, the adversary have got an opportunity to profit themselves from the chaos. Right? In the last 2 years, what we have observed, what our threat researchers have observed is the adversaries are taking the advantage or leveraging the curiosity of people, the employees, right, across the globe in terms of their knowing about COVID vaccines, its remediation, and that's why you see a surge of phishing emails coming out, right?
Yeah.
And you can be secured from a technology perspective. When it comes to human, you need to see how secure am I as a human in there, right? So in terms of the target attacks that you mentioned, and I like to answer in two parts. Right? Gone are the days in the yesteryears when the sophisticated processes, the tools were only affordable by the state-sponsored adversary in here. Today, the e-crime attackers also have a handle of all these new tradecraft, new processes, new tools, so as to make new target attacks in different industries and verticals. Right? So in terms of the state-sponsored adversaries, we kind of observed that these adversaries were targeting 5 different verticals: government, technology, defense, media, and telecom. Right? While we observed the Iranians or the Russians had a dip in their activities or STEM activities by them, there was a consistent campaign launches that was associated with the Koreans, the North Koreans. Mm-hmm. However, It was the Chinese state nexus adversaries, what we refer to them as pandas, that maintained a high operational tempo and conducted various sort of campaigns which were totally motivated by intellectual property and the intelligence gathering objectives. Now, we kind of observed that there was an uptick of Chinese targeting the telecom sector across the globe, and India was no different to it, which was aligned to the traditional espionage requirements in there. Last but not the least, the mass exploitation of the recent Microsoft Exchange servers vulnerabilities by the suspected Chinese adversary demonstrated the capabilities or the skill set that these guys have, and kind of highlighted the ever-present threat in the new vulnerabilities found and to be exploited. And from an e-crime perspective, which were the commoditized ransomware guys earlier, right? In the last 2 years, there were three noteworthy trends that we kind of observed as a team in here. First, there was a surge in extortion and data leaks, big time. There's an entire host of big game hunting adversaries leveraging these tactics now. And if my memory serves me right, there were about 23 dedicated leak sites that CrowdStrike is tracking based on this known activity. And they also kind of had a major impact in different verticals and different industries. They also impacted about 5 different industries, which were industrial engineering, manufacturing, technology, which was common with state as well, retail and financial services. Totally motivated by financial motivation or advantages in there. The second that we saw was a trend in e-crime was the rise in the access brokers. Access brokers specialize in breaching networks with an intention of selling that access to others so that they can launch, in turn, they can launch other campaigns of their own in here. The effect that we saw in the last 2 years of these sophisticated attacks by the e-crime attackers or the state-sponsored attackers were two. One, we saw a shrinking breakout time. Now, what is a breakout time? Breakout time is the time taken by an adversary when it starts moving laterally from the first point of intrusion to other hosts in the entire network in here. Now, surprisingly, this breakout time has come down drastically from the last several years and so. The average breakout time in the last 2 years was about 1 hour and 32 minutes. And out of that, 36% of the intrusion had a breakout time of just about 30 minutes. So the organization today are looking at enhancing the detection capability. How fast can they detect a threat in their environment? And the second one was, like I mentioned, it was more to do with human. They were clicking different links, the phishing links, right? The rogue links, what do you call it, which is basically a socially engineered low files around COVID-19, right? Making the employees aware and to some extent holding them accountable for what they are doing when they're clicking these links. So these are the two effects that we have seen in various organizations because of this last 2 years pandemic.
No, I think I wasn't personally expecting such an enlightening response to the opening question, which I found very generic. But thanks for such elaboration on the data points that you have mentioned, and also about the nation state actors and how the intrusion is happening from different geographies and on different industries. So thank you for that opening answer, Nitin. Let me move on. It makes certain questions quite redundant. However, I will still go ahead with those if you can tweak the answers accordingly. So threat hunting, as you also mentioned, detection, threat hunting has seldom been a very proactive approach among enterprises, barring a few exceptions, which are also the prime targets of attackers. For example, the financial industry, for ITES organizations, telecom companies. What importance would you attribute to threat hunting? How important it is? How should it be approached by various organizations?
Good question, Rahul. Let me start by saying this. Okay, it's very important for us to differentiate what threat detection is and what threat hunting is. And why I say that is because many a time when I interact with potential clients, right, across various industries and segments, right, they said, Nitin, we already have a threat detection tool in here. Why do we need threat hunting? right? So that's why I said it's very important for us to understand the difference, right? Now, threat detection occurs when a threat becomes visible independently, such as by triggering an alert in the security software. However, the threat hunting, on the other hand, involves a proactive searching for that suspected or potential threats which are still not visible. And in these times, right, like I talked about the attacks that are coming in, the sophisticated attack that the e-crime attackers are launching or the state sponsors are launching, the zero-day and the advanced persistent threat continues to challenge the security team. And that's why analysts are adopting threat hunting platform or services, whatever you want to call them, to uncover these stealthy and sophisticated attacks rapidly. Yeah. Now, if you look at this battle between the good guys, the defenders, and the adversary, right, the threat hunting actually takes place right at the front line of the battle. And CrowdStrike has been fighting this battle for many, many years on behalf of our customers. Right? Our threat hunting platform services is called Overwatch, where you have massive amount and experienced team of threat hunters relentlessly hunting, right, to see and stop those stealthiest and most sophisticated threat, that 1%, if you will, the threat that blend in silently and can lead to a breach if remain undetected. Right? Now, in this context, if you will, right, finding a threat like these is just half the battle. Right? Using those insights, what you just found out, to disrupt adversary at scale and at speed is where the battle is won. Right? And that's why I think the threat hunting is becoming so important as a proactive measure. Right? Now, just to give you a data point, Rahul, right, in the last 12 months, I think from about July 2020 to June 30th, 2021, CrowdStrike Overwatch team, or the proactive threat hunting team, right, have identified about 65,000 potential intrusion. Huge number, right? It basically represents thousands of instances where our threat hunters or analysts, what we call them, uncovered adversary which were actively seeking to evade those autonomous detection techniques, that algorithm, the technology of EDR, what you call it, right? And when you look at this data that I just mentioned, right, alongside the adversary demonstrating the capability, like I mentioned, to move laterally in about 30 minutes, right? These numbers kind of drive home the criticality or the imperativeness of doing continuous threat hunting 24/7, 365 days a year. And last but not the least, right, when you look at each of this potential intrusion that happens or which is uncovered, right, it gives an opportunity to advance the efficacy of the platform, of the Falcon platform, CrowdStrike platform, right? Because once a threat is uncovered or identified, the hunters hone the Falcon platform ability to detect similar kind of approaches, right, with much more speed and much more autonomously. And that's why I said that's where the second half of the battle is won in here. And that's why I think it's becoming so important to uncover those stealthy most attacks, which you are blindfolded to.
It's important for people to understand the difference between, as you explained very nicely, between a threat detection tool and threat hunting. And I was about to come. You very briefly mentioned about Falcon, and as I was reading recently, it has actually beaten most of its competitors hands down to take the crown as Forrester's top endpoint security software as a service product. Even in the Gartner's 2021 Magic Quadrant for endpoint protection platforms, CrowdStrike earned the highest rating by a significant margin. So, how is Falcon different? How has it been adopted by the enterprises?
I can go on and on. Any CrowdStriker will go on and on this, right? But let me try and see if I don't speak much and consolidate my answer. If you look at the last 20 years, Rahul, okay, there have been various industries, various companies, right, who have kind of disrupted the market with their approach, right? And have managed to create their own cloud category. It started way back in 1999 with SFDC when they created a CRM cloud, game changing, right? Then 2004 it was ServiceNow, and 2005 I think it was Workday, right, which created an HR cloud. It was only in 2011 when CrowdStrike came into existence and gave the industry their first cloud native SaaS endpoint security platform. 100% cloud native. And right from the inception, CrowdStrike has created a different kind of cybersecurity company, which was never seen before. Right? A born in cloud, the CrowdStrike technology or a platform brought an effectiveness, scalability, flexibility, and that experience which happens with the new currency, which was never seen before in the industry. Yeah. And I don't know how many companies, at least I don't know much about that, to the best of my knowledge, how many companies after getting listed, I think 3 years of getting listed, they are entered the NASDAQ 100. About 1.3 billion plus ARR. And to me, I basically attribute this growth to the very philosophy of CrowdStrike when we started. The very mission of CrowdStrike, right, which is only to stop breaches. That's our motto, that's our mission. Every CrowdStriker who comes to work right now, joins the work at 9 o'clock in the morning, right, is totally aligned to the very cause of stopping breaches. Any innovation that we do is again aligned to the same motto and the same mission in here. Now, over the last 10 years or so, CrowdStrike as a company has pioneered the cloud delivered endpoint protection and is kind of continuously revolutionizing, if I may say, the security market with its new innovation, new updates, so on and so forth. Right? Another philosophy which kind of differentiates us, since you asked me about the differentiation, which kind of differentiates us is having and doing all this stuff by a single lightweight agent, intelligent, not to forget, right? That can be deployed at scale and with speed across your critical workloads, whether they are on cloud, whether it's your servers, whether it's your desktop, whether it's your IoT devices or mobile devices for that matter, right? The very cloud native architecture of Falcon platform, this is what we call a CrowdStrike platform as, right, eliminates the burden associated with implementation, management, tuning of that legacy which was there earlier, signature updates, so on and so on. That's the speed that we are talking about. That's the time to value we are talking about today. That kind of differentiates us with other vendors in here, right? Now, CrowdStrike is the first company to develop a full feature platform with all the critical components needed to stop attacks, right? Which is prevention of known unknown threats, real-time detection and response, and like you mentioned, right, proactive threat hunting, 24/7, 365 days a year. And guess what? We don't stop here, right? We make it easy for our customers to extend their investment through our CrowdStrike store, which is like a marketplace where the customers can discover, try, buy, and deploy our trusted partner application that are built on Falcon platform. The CrowdStrike store lets you build your own security framework or an ecosystem and snap it together like a Lego brick, eliminating months of effort involved in deploying, integrating solution on your own. So that's the few point that kind of differentiates us, right? That kind of helps us solve a lot of problem for our customers.
No, it actually explains a lot about the organization when you say that the sole motive of the organization is to detect the breach and
Stop the breach.
Stop the breach. Sorry, I'm extremely sorry. The stop the breach, not just detect the breach. So and also how different it is from its closest rivals, its closest competitors, and the legacy of the past 10 years has actually spoken I mean, you have spoken volumes about how the legacy has actually built upon. So coming on to the last few questions, and one of this is very India specific, the go-to-market strategy, how does it work for India? What are the relationships that you have forged with your partners, and how do they offer CrowdStrike solutions to the enterprises?
Sure. Uh, if you look at last 24 months, right, basically the pandemic time, right, the CrowdStrike India team has witnessed exponential rate of adoption of our platform and services by our customers across different verticals, across different segments. Right? Now, CrowdStrike India, the way we have focused our strategy is clearly on developing deeper penetration and expertise into verticals such as government, BFSI, ITS, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, insurance, right? Or what do you call it? Energy, for that matter. And just to execute this, right? This focus strategy, right? We have divided our business into three different segments: enterprise, mid-market, and corporate, which is anything below 2,500.
Okay.
That's how we are executing this strategy. Now, India happens to be a huge market for CrowdStrike now, and it's very important for the growth of our company. And if you see, unlike many other multinational security companies, our captive unit in Pune, which houses about 300 plus people, work on the core operations of our business and play a very critical role on development of our new products, upgrade of our new products. Right? Having said that, I think the very important pillar of our coverage strategy or the GTM strategy has been our channel ecosystem. Alliances, what we call it. Over the last few years, CrowdStrike India team has managed to create some key partnerships, right? Leveraging our CrowdStrike Elevate Partner Program. Now, through this program, CrowdStrike provides training, support, services that partner needs to drive an outstanding results in their particular markets, particular industries, or particular segments. We ensure that leveraging these programs in here, the partners are focused on solving rather than just selling something to their customers. Yeah. I think the Elevate program, the partner program, is integral in driving those flexible engagement or personal engagement and rewarding the top performing partners in here. Our partners kind of have a certainty, right, of repeat business, whether it's from a renewal, from the new offerings, from the existing customer, and most importantly, the downstream services, right, that come along by selling all these offerings from our side. Now, channel has been a core to our business for many, many years now. Right? And one of the overarching philosophies that we kind of believe in while working with partners is mutual loyalty and profitability. I think that's the key philosophy with which we are driving all our relationship with our partners. In terms of alliances, there have been various alliances that we have kind of formed in here over the last couple of years, right? One of them is Spectra Alliance, which kind of gives an entire zero trust framework, right, to our customers. And it's a joint alliance between Proofpoint, Okta, Netscope, and CrowdStrike. A complete zero trust framework which is provided by this alliances to all our customers. So those are the things that I think I would like to kind of share about our GTM plans in here.
Great. I think our viewers will have a fair idea of how the organization works and how to engage with the organization. So moving on to my last point, which is which can be both indicative and futuristic. What's the next big thing that we shall expect from the company? I mean, I know that you can't reveal, but still some indications.
So, Rahul, I think big thing is a very relative term, right? For some it could be big, for some could be just be minuscule in here. But to me personally, right, anything that helps solve a customer problem is big. Yeah, and I can share with you my personal experience over the last 20 plus months I've been here. Right, every quarter I have seen CrowdStrike launching new features, new updates, right? New innovations which are seamlessly consumed by our customers. One, to stay ahead of the adversaries, right? Second, to solve any problems around security. Two. In terms of big things, I think last week we just concluded our biggest cybersecurity event, fal.con,
Okay.
where we kind of announced a laundry list of new products, new features. And I'm sure because of paucity of time, I will not go through each one of them. But few important, couple of them which I personally think are very important for our customers and are game changing, right, in the industry. First of its kind in industry. I would like to kind of mention those to you. The first one being the Falcon CWP Complete. The Falcon Cloud Workload Protection Complete is the first and only fully managed cloud workload protection solution, which kind of delivers 24/7 expert security management, threat hunting, monitoring, and response for the cloud workloads. Now, this offering is backed up by CrowdStrike leading breach prevention warranty of about $1 million. The solution is basically a manage, detect, and response remediate for all your cloud workloads and containers. Right. And the problem it helps to solve, and the thing that it helps to solve is it enables the team to build, run, and protect application with speed, confidence, giving them a peace of mind since it is managed by the team of experts out there. That's the first one which comes to my mind. Second one is Falcon Fusion. Available immediately, free of cost, to all our existing Prevent and Falcon Insight customers, basically NGAV and EDR customers, extending the support to the most under pressured, right, SOC teams out there. Right? Now, Falcon Fusion kind of provides a very rich contextual insights and valuable customization to the security teams, enabling them to deploy repeatable workflows at scale. It enables the customers to automate processes that shouldn't require human intervention, leaving a lot of time for the SOC teams to do the right things around security, where human intervention is required. That's the problem it solves. The third one, which is the most talked about, is the Falcon XDR. It's a new product, new module that kind of extends CrowdStrike industry-leading endpoint detect and response capability to deliver real-time detection and automated response across entire security stack, not confined to endpoint only. Right. The fourth one, which I remember, is Humio Community Edition. Now, to me, this is the first time that I've heard any company offering such kind of a solution to our customers, right? Again, available immediately, right? It is the only free offering of its size in the industry, designed to bring the power of Humio, right? A streaming observability tool to everyone, our customers and our potential. Right? This offering basically enables the user to ingest 16 GB of data per day and retain the data for 7 days without having any limitation in the trial period. What it does for them is it allows the customer to stream data at scale on a real-time basis, helping them to prevent, recover, and investigate root cause of any incidents. And like I mentioned, I think the ecosystem or the alliances are very, very important to us in our approach, in our growth. Now, two leading vendors, first time ever in the security industry, have come together, which is CrowdStrike and UiPath.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I think to deliver or partner to deliver a new security protection and visibility with the UiPath robotic process automation and CrowdStrike Falcon platform. Right? Both leaders in their respective field.
Yep.
This is the first partnership or alliances which comes together to extend endpoint security to RPA, giving our customer full visibility and enhanced protection, right, across their RPA tools and platform. So that's something which I remember out of the laundry list that we kind of launched last week.
No. I think these five points which you just mentioned, uh, you know, are quite the next big things in their own respective domains. So thank you for being so articulate from the beginning till the end. I think one of the meatiest interviews that I have had in these recent months. I must say that. So thank you very much, Nitin, for your time and effort. It was superb and flawless, I must say
Thank you,
that.
Rahul. Thanks. Glad you liked it.